right, so where do you want to go? Where do you want to start with this one, Razor? Bruins lose in overtime. Philadelphia Flyers beat them 3-2 on a Travis Sanheim goal. A nice goal if you're a Flyers fan. A bit of a, unfortunate bounce, or not a bounce, but an unfortunate turn by Bergeron. He falls down, and Sanheim goes in on the breakaway. But there was things. It wasn't about the overtime, really. It was probably about the third period. What do you want? Start with Lausanne? Where do you want to go? What's top of mind on this morning brew with Jaffe and Razor?
Yeah, top of mind is we were sitting there. It never really felt like they were not going to win to me. It felt like a winnable game all the way through. Felt like they were going to find a way, and even at 2-2.
Yeah, I agree. I had the same feeling.
It just didn't feel like Philly was doing a whole, like that. But we gave them an opportunity. We'll go to that. Let's go to Lausanne first with the penalty in the third period. That was the only crack that they really gave Philly. I thought they didn't give up the odd man rushes that we'd seen the last few games. They played a pretty stout defensive game compared to what we've seen the last 3 or 4 outings. When you're talking about
hallelujah, they didn't give up breakaways.
That's right.
Did they? Did they give up one breakaway in this game?
No. There wasn't any 2-on-1s. There was one 2-on-1 early in the first period, but beyond that, there was no odd man rushes and no 3-on-2s. It really felt like a ho-hum Bruins game coming down the pipe, and unfortunately, 2 holding penalties for Lausanne. The second one was just something that gets called every single time, and the young defenseman knows that, and it's right in front of the ref, and Philadelphia found a way to make him pay for it.
Yeah, I mean, you can't argue that one couldn't have been called. I mean, sticks parallel. You could argue that it could have been called a hook, could have been called a hold, could have been called the old reach around, if you know what I mean. But I mean, it's at 5:21 of the third period. I like to preface it with, I'm a Jeremy Lauzon fan. I am. But he needs to get, he needs to keep his feet moving, and stick needs to be on the ice, not wrapping. He's a lefty, so his top hand's on the stick. You can't wrap it around the defender or the opponent as the defender there. You just can't. So Bruce talked about it in his post-game show on Monday night. Can't take the penalty like that there. So is that worthy of not dressing him come Tuesday night, tonight in Philadelphia?
Well, if Miller's back in, I would like to see him play with Miller. I think can you put those two guys together? And
is there enough mobility there?
That's the question. I think against Philly, you might be able to get away with it a little bit more than some of the other teams. If they didn't seem like a lightning fast team. Konechny, a guy who typically is, he's just having a tough season. He's frustrated. So you might be able to get away with it, or you pair him back with McAvoy, put Grzelcyk with Miller.
Yeah, I don't see Butch doing that.
So
I don't. Maybe on the road. Maybe he will on the road because then he can split them up. Mm-hmm. The McAvoy, Grzelcyk.
At least to start, it's not going to be a consistent. You're still going to have those two guys play 22, 23 minutes, but in a game where there's not many power plays shorthanded, then you can split them up a little bit more, maybe.
So I was scratching this out during the post game show on Monday night. I should have kept my notes. I think I did. I don't know, but assuming your right D are McAvoy 73. If Miller plays, that's 86. Is Connor Clifton in or Kampfer in? That comes down that's your question there. You're not going to play both of them because you have lefties that you're not going to play somebody on their offside. I just don't see it. So in the game on Monday, Kampfer played 18:48. He had a goal, 2 missed shots, or I beg your pardon, a shot on goal, and then 2 missed shots. And then Connor Clifton played 17:53, had 3 hits, 2 shots on goal. I don't know. I don't know which one you play out of the two of them. I mean, do you just play Clifton because he's a guy that you're going to, in theory, play more overall than Kampfer? I mean,
yeah.
They're kind of interchangeable.
Or you want to keep Kampfer with Zaboral?
Well, wouldn't you go Zaboral and Miller? I mean, really, that that would have been the pair.
Well,
Probably.
I think that's what it'll come down to is who they want to pair up. It is more about will they if they split those two guys up, then if they don't split them up, then yes, you want to you would put Zaboral with Miller to have a little bit of legs there for him.
Yeah, I'm thinking McAvoy and Grizzly. I honestly on the left side. I mean, I don't know if you don't play Lausanne, then I would play Tenorti. I would play Tenorti with either maybe with Cliffy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. Interesting. They got some choices coming up. Obviously, we got to assume that hopefully assume that everybody's healthy. So that'll be something to keep an eye on. Starting goaltender is another thing. So let's just talk about Vladar on Monday night first. Danny Vladar, to my uneducated goalie eye, not hockey eye, but goalie eye, he looks more and more confident every time he's in net at the NHL level. He looks bigger in net than I thought he did. You and I, it was by no means a disagreement. I don't want it to come out like that. You told me after the game one where I'm like, he just doesn't look bigger. He looks kind of different. You said he's so tall. You're not used to seeing that. You were pointing that out. I feel like he looks bigger. Maybe I'm just used to seeing him in that now.
Yeah, you play a little bit bigger as you get a little more confident. I think he's doing a good job moving around. He made a nice save on a couple nice saves on the power play, a couple other really nice job, fighting through traffic. He looks comfortable. He's been here a month now. March 6th was Tuukka's last game, so he's been here facing NHL shots daily for a month. He's now played 4 games. So he's feeling good, and he has a good attitude. He obviously works hard. He grinds. He doesn't give up any pucks like Cassidy talked about after the game. So he's he's progressing well. Another 63 minutes for him. You get more and more comfort out of those. So tonight he was good. He's every game he's played, he hasn't given up that bad goal. He made the bad turnover against Buffalo, but it hasn't been any easy ones other than that. No freebies for the other team, and that's really what it comes down to when you're starting out. You don't want to give up any free ones.
Yeah. I liked him tonight. Doesn't handle the puck well. We talked about that. You pointed out a couple of things. He doesn't, I shouldn't say he doesn't retrieve and settle pucks well. Is that the right way to describe it?
Yeah, he's not an NHL puck handling goalie yet, and we've seen how good Tuukka's got and improved in that, and we've talked about it at length how good he's got in the last 3 or 4 years, and Yaro's always been good. It comes down to 2 things, especially for young goalies. Is one, the speed of the forecheck. Speed of an NHL forecheck is so different from what you see in the AHL. I can't explain. There's no words to explain how much quicker they get in on goalies, and that goes to my second point of hockey sense. And the hockey sense that Yaro and Tuukka have accumulated can't even come close to what Dan has right now. So you're a little tentative. You're not as freewheeling out there, and he's gotten burned by it once already as well. So that's in the back of his head. And in a close game like today, you're a little more tentative, and that shows up in some of the plays that. The Bruins get stuck in their zone a little bit longer. They ice the puck once or twice more a game because of those easy handoffs that don't get made. That all being said, he's making up for that, and that's just part of having a young goalie back there, similar to having young D back there. There's an offset and a switch of at least. Listen, he's 6'5". He makes a couple saves that Yarrow probably doesn't because of those 6 extra inches.
Right. Yeah, he did. He made a few real mesmerizing type saves, the kind of saves that make you really appreciate. I feel like he's more athletic than I realized. Maybe not. I don't know. But he looks it. It made me appreciate what I think is good athleticism. All right, so choice comes down to Jeremy Swayman or Danny Vladar on Tuesday night. And as we sit and talk about Monday's game, we don't know yet. Hearing rumblings that probably Jeremy Swayman.
Yeah,
that's rumblings. That's rumblings. That's not confirmed. We won't know till after. I don't even know. Did you get the email? Let me see. I haven't checked my inbox yet. Let me check something real quick about the Bruins will not have a morning skate. I know that. As again, So I'm pulling it up. Bruce Cassidy will talk to the media at 11:30. So in a couple of hours, or after people get to listen to this, we'll know. I thought it would be Vladar. You thought it would be Vladar, right?
Uh-huh.
Right?
Yeah, 1,000%.
But
Yeah,
I'm hearing rumblings that it's Swayman.
yeah, and the rumblings, the rumblings surprised me a little bit. And more than anything, it goes to the fact that you're playing the team that's a few points behind you for a playoff spot with a month left in the season. And I understand there's lots of games left. I understand they're back to back, and you're so many games you don't want to wear guys out. I guess it's I look at it, and maybe it's just completely different the way the coaches and everyone's looking at urgency this season with the way, just because it's a COVID year in the games, but with a month left in the season, I would always suspect that you would go the more experienced guy. You wouldn't just throw a new kid in a playoff type situation. Don't
you think that the biggest factor has to be, though, Razor, that they don't want to wear Vladar out, Vladar out. I mean, it just, because that to me, if he doesn't start, that would have to be the most significant reason to start Jeremy Swayman in the type of game you're just describing.
Yeah, and there is a bit of a different look towards that. The science is telling rest and how important those things are. I'm thinking we need to find a way to get points here against a team that's breathing down our necks, and we need to get in the playoffs. We're going to do kind of whatever it takes. But I suppose they're not there yet. And if they don't feel that way and they feel like they can give a kid who's only played 9 pro games a start, if he's done that much to garner that respect from the coaches, then if I'm looking at it from all of those points, then I guess it makes sense. But my experience tells me that they would go with Vladar and let Swayman have the caps. I mean, that's less of a direct 4-point game than what this Flyers next game will be, especially coming off of a loss where technically you've lost a point.
Yeah. So Tuukka's
it's going to be fascinating. It's going to be a fascinating afternoon of line changes. Defenseman, who's coming in and out? Is Miller healthy? Who's playing goal? A couple moves again up front probably. It's lots for us to talk about on a daily basis.
Right. Zach Senyshyn didn't play much. Played a little, not only one shift in the second. Played a little more in the third, 7 whatever minutes. Do you keep him in? Do you put Chris Wagner back in? Wagner's not been in now. In how many games is it now? I don't have it in front of me. Sorry, 6? I don't remember. Forgive me for not having the exact number. I feel like it's gone on longer than I thought.
If
only because because he's a veteran, and I've liked what Sean Corrali's done. I've liked what Frederick's done. I feel like they're getting a little identity to that fourth line. Kuhlman was there for part of Monday's game, but got elevated to Coyle's line. So you put Zach Senyshyn down there, but you didn't play him. So could this message be received and get him out there and play to that? Get him back on the fourth line. I don't know. There obviously is there's hesitation by Bruce to play him because I would have thought he'd been back in by now.
Big time. He's been passed over at least 4 times now by at least 3, 4, 5 players, different players. So are we, I'm not even sure if it's at a message still, if they're, they're somewhere else with that,
How much, I meant to ask, how much weight would you lose playing goalie on average? Do you know? Did you ever weigh yourself and stuff? So you knew, like, I'm talking like in back-to-back games, like if you played today, what would you lose? And then
I never really got on the scale off and on, but you would definitely. I mean, I remember Felix talking about how much if Felix Bothven he would lose so much water, and he talked about sweating, and he had drilled holes in the bottom of his skates so he could sweat out. His feet would sweat so much during games. You would lose a lot. I mean, you're sweating. You're going 60 minutes. Unlike the guy, who are on and off. So it's a different kind of sweat. It's a different kind of work. And, but again, You can do it physically. It's the mental side of it. The mental side of playing 5 games in 7 days and trying to keep that, because you kind of fall into that lull of, it's almost like a practice to
Right.
to get going again. And for Vladar will wake up in the morning, maybe probably a little bit sore, and you get up and you got to work through that throughout the day and get ready to go tomorrow.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Couple of other things. Um, I have no issue still with splitting up
Oh
Pasternak
no.
and putting him with Krejci, keeping him there. I, you know, David had an assist in the game. Pasternak, that is. Krejci didn't have anything, but he had 3 attempts, 1 hit the net. Nick Ritchie continues to shine. We talked about him in our post-game show on Monday night. 4 hits, 4 shots on net, probably 2 or 3 what I would call keep alive plays where he got the pucks, moved them to a player based on his forecheck, keeping the play alive type of things. Craig Smith, 3 shot attempts in the game with Patrice Bergeron line, who, by the way, Bergeron had a monster game. 11 attempts, 6 on net, 4 missed. That was something, like, he had a few, some of Patrice's best chances were actually missing, just barely missed the net, right? The bumper one on the power play. And monster, I'm talking beast mode, 23 wins, 8 losses in the playoffs. But I had no issue, I had no issue with Craig Smith's game again there. So I like
No, because a
those
lot
2
of those,
lines.
it was Craig Smith setting Patrice up for most of those shots, I would say tonight, more so than Bergeron. I thought a lot of those were coming from over on Smith's side, getting it on the forecheck, and he had the one play that Patrice had in the first period. They ripped along the ice that Elliott had to make a nice save. I thought Smith has complimented them well the last 2 games.
Yeah, I have no issue, and it just, it might not be the end all be all answer for the entire season, but I just feel like right now this is what the team needs. And if there's some way that you can find somebody to get Charlie Coyle going. I know they put Jake DeBrusk on Monday night over there. Played 19 shifts, 16 and a half minutes. He actually played 1 minute and 10 seconds. Did DeBrusk shorthanded. So therefore, that's why I think they were okay taking Anders Bjork out, because they figured they would put DeBrusk in and have him kill penalties. But you and I talked in game on Monday night about how DeBrusk, we felt through 2 periods, I thought he was intermittent involved. Does that make sense? Would that be fair?
Yeah, that's fair.
Not stopping on pucks a lot of turns at times.
Yeah,
Want to see
and
him,
not swinging off of a forecheck hit, but not going through the guy either. And just stuff you would expect a guy who had been out for 6 days or 6 games to really focus on, really get in the game that way.
I know he said in his presser before the game on Monday that he had symptoms, nothing severe, but he had symptoms, the loss of taste, the loss of smell. By the way, if I lose my taste from this thing, if I ever get it, holy shit, will I go berserk? Because I am such, like, I mean, I don't know what I'll do. Like, I swear, I don't want to jinx it.
You can start eating salad nonstop.
Oh my God! Well, yeah, like iceberg lettuce. It has no flavor as it is. Just eat it.
Right.
Might as well just keep eating it.
That's right.
But even iceberg, like if you really wanted to go down that road of finding, like you eat the wedge salad. And you put,
A little blue
ranch or
cheese, a
blue
little
cheese on it.
bacon,
Right.
some tomatoes.
Right.
Oof. Nothing.
Right.
Listen, you can't beat a good wedge salad. You really.
Well, that's the point. You can't beat a good wedge salad when and iceberg sucks. There's no redeeming quality to it. That's why blue cheese dressing and bacon and tomatoes were put together, was for a wedge salad.
Absolutely. Just like a cheeseburger. I mean, as long as it's a good bun and good toppings, I mean, you can put the meats, a little secondary. If it's a good bun, you can strengthen that thing.
Absolutely. So, but if I lose my taste buds for this
boy.
thing,
How miserable are you going to be?
More miserable than I normally am. It's funny we talked wedge salad because I don't know if did you ever watch Modern Family, by the way?
Yeah.
There was a whole episode about the wedge salad because Phil Dunphy, right?
Yeah.
Dunphy.
Yeah, Phil Dunphy.
He
Real
wouldn't
estate.
eat a wedge salad because even though his wife told him to for years, and then all of a sudden he goes out to lunch
And he loves it.
with this friend of his who suggested it because he thinks the friend's cool. He's like, "Oh my God, I've never had a wedge salad." So, anyways, it's just interesting we bring that up. So I'll call you Phil from now. Back to the game as we go through this one. Again, Bruins lose 3-2 in overtime to the Philadelphia Flyers. Going over the overtime goal, I don't love what I'm seeing lately from the Bruins at 3-on-3. Their movement, like they have possession of the puck, but yet they don't make a lot of stuff happen.
Yeah.
They do a lot of motion up high. I don't think that they actually, though, get enough speed generated in the offensive zone with their motion to break down opponents regularly. And I watch other teams, Colorado, the Vegases, whatever. The teams on 3-on-3 are flying. And I think
Yeah.
the Bruins get it, and then they it's not coasting, but it's not heavy duty flying. If you're going to rotate, keep rotating it. I think they end up slowing down, and all of a sudden the defense just takes it as, fine, we'll play a 3-on-3 instead of
Yeah,
scrambling.
that's right. We'll just wait for you to. We'll wait and block a shot like happened tonight, and then we're going to go. I think a great example of that was David Pastrnak getting in on a 2-on-1 today and slowing up
Right.
on that 2-on-1 and pulling up and allowing those Flyer back checkers to get into the play a little bit. It was interesting, just an interesting play. And we're not there to ask them. It would be great to just kind of, hey, what's the thought process there to kind of get an idea? Because it's David Pastrnak, so he sees something or he's thinking something, and they didn't get on the same page. But from our view on the fifth floor, and to your point, it slows up instead of just right down the wing, rip it on net, POP, get the rebound, then they have speed going and generate it that way. It's slow, gets a shot on net, whistle. Just a different. It is a different feel, maybe at times. Just and again on the goal itself, for Patrice taking a one timer from 55 feet, it's not necessarily a great option in 3-on-3 nowadays.
Yeah, that caught me. It was a little curious, that shot. It caught me a little off guard from him from up there. Maybe that's what happens when you're tired and you're flat foot and you're just trying to generate something. I watch some of these teams, and even if they recycle and they take it out of the zone, they're doing it with more motion, more speed.
Yeah, well,
they are.
And if anyone saw the Mark Stahl goal last night, right? And we watched it after the game. He loops in the neutral zone and he gets a lot of ice. It's not a great. Yeah, sorry. What did I say? Mark Stahl? Yeah, Mark Stahl doesn't move like that. They're all the same to me. It's like the Sutter, whoever.
It's true.
Stahl wheels. It's not a great goal. It's below blocker on Smitty, but he's got a lot of speed. He's generating that speed. He puts it on net.
Yeah, they need more of it. That's what I think there. All right. Anything else? Philadelphia, to me, they just hung in the game. I don't look at this team and say they scare me, except I've been in the game long enough to know that if they get hot again, they'll start appearing better. I think they have enough skill to get by. I don't think that they are good defensively. I do not think, as we talked about after the first period, they know how to decipher who to pick up when pucks go low to high or low to mid-slot. We showed it on Nesson in the first intermission on Monday about how the middle of the ice seems to be open, and they do not know who to pick up. But yet, if you face them straight on, they're fine. They're like every other team. They're fine. But you force them to turn, they're not that good. But they've got enough. Now, they got enough between Voracek. I'd be very surprised if he was back, by the way, with the Flyers next year. But Giroux, Van Riemsdyk, even though he didn't score, hasn't scored much. But, Couturier is a hell of a player. He's excellent. I think Konechny is better than he's shown. So this is a good enough team if the Bruins let him. I guess the point is this. If the Bruins let him stay in, whether it's the game or the race, they're playing with fire.
Yes.
Because they got enough skill that they can do some damage, this Flyer team.
That's right, and the urgency should be there at this point. There's no question, right. And But to your point of the Flyers, it's not like you're watching them saying, "Man, they're never," this is a tough. This is going to be a tough battle. You feel like Boston should be able to take it to them.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see what happens on Tuesday night.
Yeah,
We'll reconvene after
lots of
that
stuff.
game. Bruins remain couple of points up on Philly. Still, what, 2 games in hand on that right now?
2 Buffalo games in hand too. I feel
2
like that's
Buffalo.
like necessary to add on. It's not just
Yeah.
2 games in hand; it's 2 Buffalo ones.
Well, Buffalo's won a couple, but I know
Yep.
what you're saying. It is.
Yep.
It's not the end all be all. I'm curious to see how teams are, not if, but when they're completely out of it, which Buffalo already is. But when they're out of it and 2 or 3 other players have been traded, they've already had Stahl traded from Buffalo. What happens when
When
Hall's
Hall
traded?
goes.
What happens when Montour gets traded?
Yeah.
Let's where's their give a heck level then, right? And everything. But that's another show for another time. All right, let's wrap this morning brew with Jaffe and Razor up. Flyers beat the Bruins 3-2 in overtime. Razor and I will be back with you after the Bruins game on Tuesday night. It's a busy week. A lot of listening to me yap, Razor laugh. We'll try and come up with some more wedge salad type things to break it up. In the meantime, everybody, have a wonderful day on Tuesday. We'll talk to you after Tuesday's night game. And as always, enjoy that coffee.